Okay, I think I got that right. Hi, welcome to the I am StellaRoseAllDay. I am the Queen of Justice, and today we are going to just do a quick little holiday live to wrap up the year. Okay, so just so you know, in the lives, if you're going to participate in the chat, please remember that we need to keep it PG-13 because we just got to be appropriate here. Also, if you are a victim of sexual assault or if you have post-traumatic stress disorder, this is a trigger warning because we do talk about things like sexual assault and murder in my lives. So if you're somebody who's triggered by those things, you may not want to participate, okay? So, got all the disclosures out of the way. Wanted to wish everybody a happy holiday season. If you celebrate Hanukkah, or if you celebrate Christmas, or if you celebrate Kwanzaa, happy holidays to everybody, and I hope you have a safe and fun holiday season. I celebrate Christmas, my tree is up, and everything is going good. Okay, so about Kanye and his rant. Well, here's the thing. Like, if you know Kanye's been around for a long time, and Kanye's kind of always been that way. Even when he was like a teenager, Kanye was always kind of different. So it doesn't surprise me with his latest rant. But what does concern me is that I'm grateful that like Kanye is risking his life and he's saying, they killed Aaron Carter. But I'm a little worried that they're trying to pin it on Harley, okay? Because, he was Aaron Carter's trainer or whatever. And so like when I first started working on Aaron's documentary, that was somebody who, was a possible person of interest. But at the same time, during our conspiracy theory that I did with the fans and everything else, still all the roads led back to Laurie Knight and his managers. Okay, so if you've read the book that I published, War of Angels, a documentary on the death of Aaron Carter, a lot of people's lives, okay, because it can't be ignored. And as far as Aaron's investigation goes, it's reached another level that I'm happy to participate in. But at the same time, for Aaron to get justice, it's something that needs to be worked on continuously, but again, behind the scenes. Because as you can see, and what I put in the second part 2 of his documentary, The Aftermath, okay, is about all the harassment from all the exposure. So when I exposed the Aaron Carter's death and all the people that were involved and everything in the book, I suffered a lot of repercussions from that because, again, it pulls in a lot of big names. So that's why I'm wondering, since that one tweet that on the night that Aaron was murdered, okay, if they pulled Kanye in on it and they're like, we'll just blame it on this guy. And so if they try to blame it on Harley, that's putting it on the wrong person. I think in a way, one of the theories that I've come up with is that they're going to try to pin it on the wrong person because there's just so many big names involved in Aaron's death, okay? Aaron was a smart guy, and he videotaped his whole life and he put everything out there, and if it wasn't for me, they would have gotten away with murder, okay? But my whole role in Aaron Carter's life was his afterlife and exposing exactly what happened to him during the time that they were planning his demise. I think that the people who have read the documentary War of Angels realize that, you know, the story that the entertainment family that he was a part of that sold to the public was just that, their story that they sold to the public, okay? Their story of Aaron Carter's death that they sold to the public was that he accidentally drowned. But then corruption came in when witnesses came forward and said, well, wait a minute. When Aaron died, there was blood on his jeans. Where did that come from? Okay. And also, you know, he had been injured above his eye. And it wasn't so simple that he just accidentally drowned, okay? And then the second part comes in with them blaming Walgreens for supplying Aaron with prescriptions, although Taylor Helgeson, Prince's father, okay, biological father, okay, his pill bottles were found at the scene. So there's just a lot of corruption, especially when it comes into, you know, if you watch TMZ, they've released the body cam footage of Kim Zolciak and Corey Bierman, but why didn't they release the body cam footage of the welfare check from Aaron Carter the night before he passed away, right? The problem with Aaron is that when his documentary was published, okay, it opened up questions about Aaliyah and other artists like Prince, Elvis, Selena, R. Kelly. R. Kelly was married to Aaliyah, okay? And so, like, I watched The Surprise Witness. Somebody sent me, like, the video of The Surprise Witness or whatever, and she wants to dive into the death of Aaron Carter and do an investigation. And I wrote to her and let her know, it's already been done. If you want to know how Aaron Carter died, all you have to do is buy that book, War of Angels, okay? If you want to try to start from the ground up, you can't. It's already been done. And so it exposes, like she talked about how Aaliyah died, and then the uncle took out a $90 million life insurance policy on Aaliyah. And if you read about Aaliyah and the plane crash, the pilot was high on dope, high on cocaine, and high on alcohol, and wasn't qualified to pilot that plane that crashed, okay? So the problem with Aaron Carter's death is that it opens up other things. So one of the things that she talked about was with R. Kelly being married to Aaliyah, that would give him, you know, basically power over her because she was a minor. But at the same time, he married Aaliyah illegally, okay? So when you talk about the music industry protecting the artists, now if you look into R. Kelly, okay, and his original sexual assault lawsuits that were in Chicago, prosecuted in Chicago, the lawyer who was the one that come here, honey. Hold on one second. Cupid's. It was Ed. What was his lawyer's name? Why am I drawing a blank? Ed Getzen, okay, who before he died of cancer went and said R. Kelly was guilty. R. Kelly was guilty. I defended him, and I was sorry that I did. And what happened to me was I manifested cancer, and now I'm dying. Okay? And this is what I'm talking about. Like when I did the post about Britney Spears' dad losing his leg. It's like, Britney, you don't have to drag your dad back into court and spend a bunch of money on legal fees. God just took care of those details. Like, he's not going to go anywhere anytime soon quickly, let me tell you, okay? So basically what happens is when people lie and people think that, they're fooling God source energy, okay? If you want to call it the universe, if you want to call it God, if you want to call it Buddha, or whatever, it's all energy, okay? And so basically, like, we're always speaking by vibrations. And that's why when something like Aaron's death doesn't sit right with us, it's because we feel the injustice. And the people who think that they can get away with the injustice end up getting sick. And a lot of times they end up losing their lives, just like Robert Kardashian when he defended O.J. Simpson. So that's why I'm like, you really don't have to do anything because the justice is going to play out. So the thing is, yeah, so Ed Getzen that represented R. Kelly did go ahead, and there's a person, and I forget his name right now, I'd have to look it up, but there is a person that did write a book about the truth about R. Kelly, and he was exposing R. Kelly for a long time. And so eventually we all know that R. Kelly didn't end up getting away with all of his abuse to the women and things like that. But he was out of jail for a long time. Okay. And then I think when his ex-lawyer came forward and said, yep, I got him off, it wasn't right, now I'm paying the ultimate price with my life, but I want to say this before I die, because I'm going to die, and he did die, but R. Kelly was absolutely guilty. And he said that when he was on his deathbed, and you can look that up. He was a famous Chicago lawyer named Ed Getzen. And so, now we're seeing like P. Diddy's going through it, and the same thing like with Nick Carter. So like with P. Diddy, when he got hit with the lawsuits, you seen a bunch of companies that right away disassociated themselves from P. Diddy because they wanted to stick up for the women, or at least be like, okay, we're going to put a pause on our business relationship and then we'll visit it later if he can clear his name or things like that. But with Nick Carter, what do you see? You still like, yeah, some of his concerts were canceled, but not all of them, okay? Not at like the Disney Theater, which is again his family, okay? And people who are rewarding toxic behavior, and the collective's not happy about that at all, okay? So anyway, basically, I just wanted to say that I want to thank everybody who has supported my channel and my work all year. Thank you for the donations, the memberships, the super stickers, and the fan mail. Thank you for people who send the evidence into my email, shatteredwindows7@gmail.com. Thank you for everybody who's purchased a copy of Part 1, War of Angels, a documentary on the death of Aaron Carter. Part 2, the aftermath, is going to be completed, and the investigation has reached another level. But because it's only fair to Aaron, I'm gonna put it in the documentary, because the whole point of doing these books and publishing these books is to let law enforcement know that, there's a whole group of us that are working on Aaron's case, and we put in a lot of hours, to make sure that Aaron gets justice. But at the same time, it can impact you and work against you when you're telling everybody, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And then their family obviously has a lot of resources that can come up with a backstory to combat the conspiracy theory. And again, when I published that book and I exposed that there were a lot of people, again, it didn't come down to just one person. There was a lot of people that were involved in Aaron's demise, that it even took the authorities by surprise. Okay, so What I did for Aaron, I did out of the kindness of my heart. And although I do appreciate, like, you know, the fans and everything like that, really my only purpose is to clear Aaron's name. And I'm positive that it's going to happen. Maybe not as fast as we all want it to, but I told you before, it's not Amazon Prime. When you're dealing with the legal issues, when you're dealing with authorities, when you're dealing with book publishing, when you're dealing with any kind of exposure, you know, the other side's going to throw bombs. They're going to try to slow you down. They're going to use scare tactics to try to, you know, stop you from exposing, you know, and that's like one of the things is like the amount of the great lengths that they go to basically get you to shut up or to stop exposing or whatever, you know. Those are things that I have to report to the authorities too. You know, like how many times was my life threatened? Multiple times, okay? And so I have to, anyway, the point is that they were absolutely shocked that I was able to put that book together and break it down the way that I did. And now the authorities have to get caught up with all of that, but they are. So I'm not worried and I'm not stopping my work. But at the same time, to be fair to Aaron, a lot of the things that I need to do, I'm just not going to be able to share with you. But you'll see at the end of the day that it was for Aaron. And, you know, I'm very confident that everything is going to turn out exactly the way it's supposed to. And I think that, like, the other thing too, because I always talk about the spiritual justice, I think one of the things that you're seeing is that some of the major players, you know, they've gone silent because they know that the investigation has reached a point of no return and that they're under investigation. They're under scrutiny. I mean, they don't even harass me as much as they used to because they know that when they tapped into like my social media accounts or when they tapped into my phone or that when they tapped into my email, that I wasn't playing around. And they found out that, you know, the information that I've exposed is exposed a large part of the people in law enforcement. So now everybody's running around, instead of trying to cover themselves, they're actually working with it, okay? Because they know that it's too late and it's already been exposed and I'm not gonna stop and I don't have to stop, okay? I know what I'm doing and I do it very well, okay? So anyway, 2024 is going to be focused on part 2 of his documentary, and it's going to detail information that I haven't shared before about basically the how deep the rabbit hole does get. Okay, so but I feel like people need to be able to enjoy their holidays and stuff like that and not have anxiety about, you know, about Aaron's case. I can tell you that it's in the right hands. The people who can do something about it are doing something about it, okay? And I'm not worried at all. So I don't want you to be worried. I want you to be able to enjoy your holidays and I'll basically check in when I can. Let me see if I missed any chats. I don't think so. I don't think so. So anyway, I'm doing good. Cupid's doing good. And I just wanted to say thank you again for everybody who has been on this journey. And I'll see you when I see you. I'll check in when I can. But if you don't hear from me, no news is good news. Love you. Have a great holiday. Happy New Year.